something's always being buried here.
Yeah, were there any other rap deaths? Because like Lonzo said, we talked about this extensively just in the past 5-6 years. Were there any other ones where you sat back and you were like, or even going back 20-30 years, you know what I mean?
It's funny you say that, because me and Odell last night, me and the Wolf Gang, we were talking about Pac. And I love our relationship because we are both hip hop fanatics. And we're born in the same generation. We're only a year and a half apart. So he was here in Compton. I was in Philly. And we both were loving the same music, same era, same time. And we just started talking about when it hit for us with Pac. Like, when did we become real diehard Pac fans? And I said, for me, it wasn't until after Pac passed away, because I was still angry with Pac, that he decided to go West Coast.
Okay.
You know, I was mad because he was repping heavy from, you know, the East. And then I'm like, now you West Coast, but you couldn't hate on the music. And then you hear California Love, you see the video, you're like, all right, he's still balling. But the impact of what we lost, it didn't hit me until I saw my little cousin go out and get a Thug Life tattoo on his stomach from North Philly.
Hit home.
And him crying, just rocking back and forth, smoking a blunt and drinking a 40 of St. Ives, listening to Hail Mary on repeat, you know? And I'm like, why do you listen to that song every morning? Why are you always blasting it? He said, because this is my prayer and protection so I can make it home to y'all alive. Pac was a prayer for him. How deep is that? You know?
Yeah.
Pac was a prayer. And so I was telling him after that, that's when I really just started studying Michel'le and every lyric. And I started hearing so many things that I wasn't listening to just as a regular consumer of music recreationally, but someone who was really charting the greatness of a man who was able to do so much in 25 years. We're still talking about it now. And he was the same way. It was the death of Pac that triggered the legacy, you know, honoring the legacy. And it wasn't until he was gone that we realized what we lost.
Right.
And I think it's the same for this new generation with Nipsey. I don't think they really realized what they lost until Nip was gone. And it had the exact same effect on Generation Z as the death of Pac had on Generation X. It's almost identical. Pac was trying to create an avenue for African-American artists to be able to own their own talent, work together, and not need the middleman. Nip took it, evolved it, was trying to do the exact same thing with the technology and the crypto coin and embedding information inside. Like, all of this stuff is stuff that would have done nothing but set the culture free. Tory Lanez, he's a jerk, but he tapped into the code and broke out how to make the NFTs work and never needing to have to sign another Roc Nation contract. And he promised to teach everyone in his generation he was going to do it. And now all of a sudden we got some girl who lies so much that she can't even remember how many times Tory Lanez was inside of her on drunk night. And we let her word put that young man in jail when all he was trying to do was the same thing that Nick was trying to do. Set his people free. I can go back 50 years before that and say the name Sam Cooke. Like, this is too repetitive.
That's true.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
You got to be a music historian to understand what Sam Cooke was all about. And we talked about that before.
And all it took was a sex worker who would have gave it up for $5 to accuse him of something he didn't need to do, just days before he was about to make history.
Yeah. Hey, Jag, I'm almost afraid to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We lost the legend within the past 24 hours. R.I.P. to Quincy Jones. What are your thoughts on Quincy Jones and his passing?
I don't know. It's past.
She got something. She thinking something. She just ain't gonna say
it's
it.
Past.
That's why I was almost afraid to ask, but I didn't.
You know,
It's a little early right now, but I
understand this.
That's why she laughing over here. She ain't got nobody fooled but me, but people who don't know no better. I can tell by the way she twisted her mouth up right now. She got some thoughts, but she knows it's a little early, and she gonna hold them for a minute. But
I know what I will say are facts, because no one can accuse me of being harsh for telling the truth. Fact is a fact. I can just give you facts and no opinion. As monumental as Quincy Jones' career has been in music, it is surrounded and shrouded by too much confrontational information. And, it's just, he wasn't much of a friend to Ray Charles when Ray Charles needed a friend. But Ray Charles was always a friend to him. The way he tried to slut shame Michael Jackson, which was over the top. The way he picked a 30-year-old fight and decided to, be Clive Davis's buddy while, they talk crap about Clarence Avant because he taught Michael Jackson how to keep his money and how to make his money. Like, a lot of people don't understand Quincy Jones' biggest problem was the fact that Michael Jackson refused to stay a victim, became a survivor, and then wanted to set his people free. But it was easier to believe that he was a monster than believe that he was actually a real man. Quincy Jones has done a lot, Secret Garden, there's some great cues, Jute Joint, and Tamia, and Tevin Campbell, and I tell you one thing I do remember, that time that Tupac spoke out about the fact that he said he alleged that Mr. Jones had propositioned him in a not so friendly way. And that was wild because he was dating his daughter at the time, or just around that time, Key Dada. I tell you what I do know. This is the first time I've heard a relevant juggernaut in music and history pass away with the kind of ridiculous catalog he has, and you don't hear his songs on the radio all day.
That's true.
Because when Michael Jackson died, I heard his songs on the radio.
Prince.
All day, every day. Prince. Frankie Beverly just passed, and there was a surge in the streams on May's catalog.
Yep.
Usually when you have a great producer,
thank you, Amy,
who's changed someone's life, the artists that they worked with come out and make statements and say, we lost a great one. I haven't heard Tamia make a statement. Has anyone? I haven't heard Tevin Campbell make a statement. Has anyone? Matter of fact, has any artist that's worked with Quincy Jones in any relevant capacity came forward to give their absolute condolences for that man in any way, shape, or form yet? I think the answer is no. So if everyone that he supposedly did so much good for is absolutely quiet, maybe the rest of us should be as well. Joan Crawford and Betty Davis had a hell of a rival in their time on this earth together. And when Joan Crawford passed away, everyone ran to Betty Davis and they went to ask her, what she thought about her arch nemesis finally being gone. And she said, I believe, quote, my mother always said, never speak ill of the dead, only good. Did you say Joan Crawford is dead? Okay, good. And she hung up.
Damn. Straight up.
Files Candice. I don't think you'll be bumping into Michael Jackson or Prince. I tell you that. I don't know. I don't know what people expect me to do.
Are there any good people in Hollywood?